This is Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Subscribe for new content notifications. Now, here's Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow me on Twitter at Backup Bradley above at the top of the screen. Everything we're talking about here. Okay, so today, look, the show is brought to you by Unstoppable Domains, and today we're going to celebrate you. That's what we're going to do. Some of you who've got some amazing crypto names, domain names. There's a link in the description for it, guys. Check out just a couple that Robert Doyle has. Shout out to you, Robert Doyle. I'm trying to get you guys some attention and a platform to be able to showcase some of these names so you can get exposure to your own .crypto domains. Okay, so digitalpayments.crypto. Fantastic. Buy toys now. .crypto. I'm showcasing these because these are not trademark company names. This is the way I like to think when I go in to buy domain names, that things that could be used by other companies that would see the value in that .crypto name for their particular business model or angle. Okay, so now Bill Pays .crypto. Robert Doyle is crushing it. That's just a few of what he has. So reach out to him. Or I want to also show you too, John May, who told me he's got smokintote.crypto. That to me is a great name. You're not going after a trademark. You're going after something that people do, they can recognize with, and maybe search a lot, high search results. And then obviously you have a website that you can have everything on and accept money through it too. So pretty exciting. So shout out to John May and Robert Doyle for Unstoppable Domains, guys. Link in the description box. Get your own cool Unstoppable Domains. And it really is the digital version of freedom speech. It's freedom of speech 2.0. Okay, now let's get on with the news, because what we have to talk about today is behind the scenes look into cryptocurrencies and, more importantly, U.S. lawmakers and exactly what's been going on. Have they been dragging their feet the way the narrative has been played out publicly? I don't think so. Excuse me. I never have. I personally believe that there's been a lot of work done behind the scenes in huge meetings and get-togethers and going over this information in panels and discussions that have really probably taken things to a level that none of us are truly aware of, and we're going to look at some of that before we get out of this video. Let's get started. First thing we need to pay attention to is KuCoin to cover all user losses from recent $150 million crypto hack. First of all, shout out to KuCoin for making that right. That there is integrity, and you know that is what we like to see. Okay, moving over quickly, let's change the narrative. Cambridge, there are 101 million cryptocurrency users. The agent Smith down here says roughly 1.4% of the planet. It's literally almost no one, right? I mean, respectively to the planet, agent makes a great point here. You know, that to me, it's like we talked about the other day. You know, the internet, if you think about the internet, when the internet was first coming on, there was several $1 trillion into the internet and not that long into it. We don't even have $1 trillion collectively as a whole in the crypto space yet. So there is a long way to go. And to me, as an investor, and it's not financial advice, nothing but upside headed our way. Now, I want to build out on this next piece and keep going here. So IRS make it harder to avoid declaring crypto on tax returns. Now, we've talked about this before with Clinton Donnelly here on the show, the crypto tax fixer. I got a link for him too. If you are not sure how to handle your taxes when it comes to crypto, reach out to him. If you are and you feel confident you have, but you worry about something coming back on you, there's also a link there for crypto audit protection where he can help you. So either way you go, make sure you've got the protection and you've got the full understanding of what it means to have a crypto portfolio when it comes to your tax implications. Okay, let's keep this moving because look, this is good news too, in the sense that I know people are like, how in the world can you say this is good news that the IRS is drilling down on your crypto holdings? Did you think it was going to go any other way? Hello? This is the real world. Come on in. It is not going to go another way. You are going to get taxed in some shape, way, there, or form. And if something is deemed a currency, it may be that you experience, like if XRP is a currency at the end of the day, you may find that it's not taxed like property, but then obviously you get taxed at point of sale and those things. But we'll have to see how that shakes out. That's just my personal opinion of the matter. However, it could certainly be a situation where, depending what you've done with that asset, may depend how it's treated with the tax implication. And because it's digital and the governance and compliance are built in, it may not make it that hard to separate those different issues. We'll just have to get more clarity to fully understand. But the reality here for me is that when I see the IRS coming into this sector, you know what else I want the IRS to do? I want the IRS to say that they'll accept cryptocurrency for payments. Because then you can count on it. It's money. And that's something I really like to see. So let's go ahead with the next piece here. Mike Novogratz from Galaxy Digital. Mike Novogratz, big cryptocurrency guy, investor in the space with this former hedge fund trader here, talks about, and he has said this before, and he talks about this openly in the article, the herd is coming for real this time. Now, he has pounded the ground and said this before, and then obviously we went into a 3-year bear market, and the herd didn't quite make past the gate. But you know what? He's right this time. He's right because you can see the regulatory side of this, whether it's the OCC, the CFTC, or the SEC now at this point with the recent issuance of a no-action letter for security tokens and asset trading platforms that are dealing with security tokens. This just really opened the floodgates. Okay? That really opens the floodgates for you to tokenize everything in the world and get moving with the market the way it's supposed to look going into the future. This isn't supposed to be just about the cryptocurrencies that we are aware of today. This is about digitizing and tokenizing all of the assets in the world and having them work in a financial settlement way through digitization and tokenization. That's what this is about. And I believe Mike Novogratz, although he's at times in the past has had bad things to say about XRP, I know that he's ultimately bullish on the whole crypto space, and I believe he even holds XRP and sometimes still says bad things. But the reality is that he's bullish on the space overall, and he does remain very positive at this point that we are going to see large institutional money move into this space. And with the recent things that we have seen and will continue to see from regulatory agencies like the SEC and the OCC with Brian Brooks, you can bet that he's got it on the mark this time. So this is actually Galaxy Digital right here. I did want to mention that, I had the pleasure of interviewing Yoshi Nakamura, I believe it was, from Galaxy Digital last year at the conference we went to when we were filming Kryptonaires, which, by the way, we're very excited. We are deep levels of post-production at this point. And I am getting so excited for all of you to be able to see this film. There's no question about it. We will keep you posted as we get closer to that finish line. Okay, moving on here. Lumen, not to be confused with Stellar Lumen, the organization and foundation behind Stellar. This is Lumen, which is an enterprise technology platform that enables companies to capitalize on emerging applications that power the fourth industrial revolution. Now, we've heard this from many people, including Glenn Hutchins from BlackRock and a huge investor in the crypto space. Let's just watch this quick demo and listen to what they say after 1 minute here. Is it not going to play for me, I guess? Is that what I'm... Oh, here it is. Got it. Here we go, guys.
First came steam, and it changed the world forever. Then came electricity. Then the silicon chip. And nothing was ever the same. Now comes the next great step for civilization, the fourth industrial revolution, a revolution driven by data and applications, IoT and artificial intelligence, to enable amazing things like smart cities, autonomous vehicles, real-time collaboration, remote robotic surgery, automated factories, and augmented reality shopping. This is the fourth industrial revolution, and there's one company born to enable it, Lumen.
that's where we're going. And you saw the amazing things that they're touching on. And I wanted to show that specifically because it's not just about crypto. It's about where everything in the world is going. Crypto is a part of that movement. It's not the whole movement. It's a part of that whole movement. It's pretty incredible. All right, let's keep things moving because we got a lot to look at here. Angelos tells Forbes that Visa has onboarded approximately 25 companies so far, which are at various stages of development. These digital asset firms will have the opportunity to connect with Visa's network of 60 million merchants. Yeah, this just keeps getting bigger. It just keeps getting bigger. Then I want to remind everybody, we did cover this, but the Federal Reserve Bank Cleveland CEO Loretta Mester revealed the organization is exploring a system that would allow the Fed to easily deposit digital dollars into accounts held by U.S. citizens. Now, here's something that's been going on as a conversation for quite some time, and not many people are aware of it. And that's something we need to remind ourselves of as we move through this material today in this video, but also as we invest and go day to day in this space. I have never subscribed to the idea that the U.S. is dragging its feet to be number one or a leader in this space. In fact, I think they've been hiding a lot of the work that they've been doing because they are the largest economy in the world, and they understand that the impact of what digital assets are going to do as a new commodity introduced into the economy of the world, that they don't want this thing to jump off until they absolutely are ready for it to, because if it does, there could be huge ramifications. You get one chance to get this right. There isn't many times you witness in a lifetime that there's a new asset class introduced in the field of commodities. So, all right, now, going forward here, this really does come to the notion that of what we heard from the Federal Reserve there and the piece of news we just looked at, and the interoperability is key to building a CBDC future from Marcus Treacher, reinforcing and retweeting the tweet from Ripple about CBDCs are a question of when, not if. And that's exactly right. Just like we know that the Federal Reserve is entertaining the notion of dropping digital dollars in an account for all of us directly. Marcus Treacher's got it right on the ball here, and it really speaks to the rest of the world and what's happening. And and I could tell you, well, when is in the Bahamas. I could tell you when that is because it's October 20th. The Bahamas Central Bank Digital Currency Sand Dollar will launch on October 20th. The CBDC second phase in 2021 will focus on preparing essential infrastructure services in the government and private sector, such as utility companies for CBDC. This is moving forward rapidly. You may not feel like it when you look at price every day, but this is where we're going. All right, now let's round this out here. So, every year, some bills eventually do run the gauntlet and are elevated into law. Though these two bills are the beginning of the starting process, they certainly have a shot, providing they have some support in Congress. And what they're talking about here, obviously, is the Digital Commodity Exchange Act that was introduced, and introduced the Securities Clarity Act. Now, they were introduced. Now, you could almost drive by Congress in D.C. and throw paper out the window and have that introduced. But the point is, to the article, there are many, many things that are introduced throughout the year in Congress. It does not mean it'll get passed. In my eyes, and I'd love to see some clarity come through legislation, but the reality is this. If we get the regulatory sandbox we need for the federal banking system through the OCC, and then we get everything else that we need from FinCEN, FINRA, and the SEC and the CFTC for retail investors to play along, and have a regulatory sandbox through all these regulatory agencies, I'm totally cool. And we can move forward. And we have clarity for the IRS on how all these things are treated. Then we could let a year or 18 months go by and then craft the legislation we need. But we need the clarity to let us get going. And that just means we need a sandbox to get us going. Now, if we have a little more than that, I'm fine with it, as long as it doesn't inhibit innovation, right, or stifle innovation. So let's keep going here. because here is that narrative again. With at least another couple of years before digital yuan can fire on all cylinders, stablecoins can be adopted and implemented as a medium for the global payment system. Before you know it, the U.S. would have bridged down China's 6-year head start. Now, I like this because I believe this is a little more accurate, even though it says that China's got a 6-year head start. In what way are they talking about? Because the truth is I just did an video not long ago where we talked about there's more blockchain patent applications in the United States from U.S. companies than anybody else on the planet. And that's something that doesn't get talked about a lot. So this 6-year head start in regards to what? Legislation or the innovation race in the private sector? Because nobody's been more out front in what they're doing than Ripple. And that's a U.S. company last time I checked. So this is something that I want to touch on. Now, when it comes to legislation, let's take a look at this from Ron Hammond. Ron Hammond drafted the Digital Tax or the Token Taxonomy Act, and he worked with many other people, Warren Davidson. And now he says it's been 2 years since 50 C-suite executives descended on the Library of Congress to participate in Warren Davidson's legislating certainty for digital assets. In honor of this fantastic event, a quick thread on some behind-the-scenes details and what has happened here since. Now, I want to just run through these bullet points. There's 19 of them. Just going to be very quick here. One of the unique elements of the roundtable was the format. Members of Congress listened to and took notes, and this is very different than many of the congressional hearings which occur today. Educational phase, that first rolling meeting where you come in and go, let me just listen to the people that are out here, the entrepreneurs, the startups, right? And then we understood that asking 50 people a question would result in a lot of responses from the room. We needed a moderator who would be impartial and a leader in managing personalities at the event. And then he thanks these people as he goes through this that partook in the event that happened, right? Another unique element of this event was a range of VC firms, trade associations, exchanges, law firms, media, banks, and startups at the event. Some were competitors, others were business partners, but no matter the relationships, everyone was cordial and professional. And this really takes you through. Now, this was going on a year ago. Right? So, again, you didn't hear about this. I didn't hear about this until today. And maybe somebody else did. But the reality is, I think that this is significant in this thread because it does show that this is an event that we made it imperative that this event was a bipartisan event. And he's absolutely right because this affects all of us. It doesn't matter what you think about personal issues inside of an ideological platform. This technology and where we're going affects all of us, like it or not. So let's see here. Let's keep moving. I'm just going to pop through a couple of these. We started as bipartisan MOC with an interest in the promise of blockchain technology has ballooned into a coalition of over a dozen MOC who are champions for the industry. We still have a long way to go, but it's exciting watching support in DC grow. Again, showing that they have the traction. Right? I think this really comes down to a very, very simple concept and understanding here. They don't know which tech is going to win out. Has there been simulations and models done on all these different kinds of tokens? Sure, they're doing all of that. They're going to continue to do all of that. But the reality is that real live situation of real application and a use case being solved, a pain point being solved for a company, a service, or an industry that's really going to reveal it and send it home for you and let you know this is a winner. And these are the implications that we now see as the space really truly begins to take shape based around use case utility. And that's what we need to see ultimately, I believe. So the event was organized into 3 tiers of conversation: token taxonomy, security versus commodity, consumer protection, and compliance, custody, privacy, and tax. And again, all of these areas hugely important. It talks about the BSA, Bank Secrecy Act, and the AML. A lot of these things we report on every day. Security versus a commodity, consumer protection, Financial Protection Bureau, right? We've seen that. We've seen compliance with BSA, AML. We know that Ripple is absolutely in line with all of those things. Custody issues, right? Privacy. privacy coins. We see an issue with that. We see an issue about your own privacy and about Pay ID and about having your own digital identity and the privacy there. The tax implications that we talked about. The IRS is absolutely pursuing anybody who doesn't claim in a proper manner what you're doing with your cryptos. So be very, very careful out there. Okay. I could read the rest of these, but a lot of these are really like shout outs, about how they had so many people besides the panel of 50 that were participating. They had to keep it at 50 so it would be a productive roundtable, basically, and that it wouldn't be so crowded that they couldn't get to everybody. So this, to me, is exciting because it is a peep in the window over the last year that I was not aware of and how much is happening. Now, I've always believed that there's a lot more happening behind closed doors, but this to me really reveals the effort because they really went out of their way not to just have the legislators sit together, but they brought in the startups, the banks, the private sector companies, and had everybody sit in a room, whether they were a competitor or not, and share their thoughts and ideas about what needs to happen, where we currently are, and how do we get to where we want to go. So this to me is pretty amazing, and I want to just take a second to shout out to Ron Hammond and everybody, and Warden Davidson and Darren Soto and Tom Emmer and all the people in Congress that have been so forward thinking and understanding that this technology needs to be adopted sooner rather than later. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Head on a swivel. This is crypto. You never know. Great things are happening. Hit the like and subscribe and share with somebody you know. I'll catch all of you on the next one.